Ever watch the stars, dear friend? Forever would they be your guide to Osgara, trust me. For I have traveled across this world back and forth many times over. No high peak I've left unconquered, no valley unvisited, no cave unexplored, no sea unsailed. Well, I exaggerate, but the fact remains that the stars light the way. Wherever we look, we see their light, though often our eyes deceive us. What we suspect were stars may often turn to be reflections in the night. Myth and reality are often two sides of the same coin. Take the well of life, for example. In myth, it is said that before there was any life, there was the well, a mountain that crowns the range at the peak of this world. Then stars poured into the well and breathed life into Osgara. Water erupted from the well, and with it people came, following the river as it went, spreading and multiplying to populate this land, and now squabble over it, as though they were not much more than ungrateful infants. But well, in reality, the well of life is merely the origin of Osgara's largest river, and granted that water is the essence of life, but there are other rivers in Osgara, other wells of life by this meaning, though none so grand as the Silent River. And the Silent River, it splits Osgara neatly in two, down the center, putting Hidaria and her allies to one side, and leaving Migora to occupy the other. It is said that the river has mystical and restorative properties. Only myth, of course, for no body of water has ever been turned as red as that river. The only mystical property it truly holds is its ability to draw men willing to die, fighting in wars they cannot truly understand. That is the reality, my friend, and as such it is dotted with cities, villages, and towns. Take Yergamont, for example. Local folk would have you believe that it was the first ever settlement on Osgara. A myth, to be certain. Many towns in the far north would beg to differ, though the title earns little to no added value. In reality, however, Yergamont guards one of the river's biggest crossings. It has changed hands constantly over the last 1,000 years, and will undoubtedly continue to do so. But for now, their lot is thrown in with Hidaria, and Yergamont's crossing would brook only the Empire's soldiers, or the mercenaries they so often bring along. Another illustration of myth and reality can be found in Yokuk, the free city. Well, as free as the Hidarians allow, at least, though no governor major nor minor rules over the city, and though officially they welcome traders from all over Osgara, they still celebrate Hidarian festivals. They still send the majority of their mercenaries to the Hidarian war machine. If the Emperor wills it, the free men of Yokuk will dance to whatever tune he chooses, be it to war or to peace. Yes, peace. As novel a concept as it is now, and even though Migora has fought Hidaria for over half a millennia, there once came a time where peace was within reach. It was in Osgara that leaders of both armies met, high lords of war and war masters alike, or so the myth goes. And depending on who you ask, the other party arranged for a burning of the city to take out key figures in the war, and the fact that both sides lost impactful leaders is often shrugged off as collateral or accidental. But there is a reality to this myth, one that few wish to acknowledge. The only certainty, however, is that the city was burned to the ground, leaving all hope of peace to burn to embers with it. The war goes on, and oftentimes it feels as though it rages throughout all of Osgara, except perhaps at the heart of this world, the foreboding forest. The one place in Osgara where not a single record of a battle has ever been documented. A reality that sounds like myth, so you must imagine what wild speculation riddles this forest now. Magical creatures occupy it, wisps and spirits roam freely within, blades of grass sing to an air of enchantment, and inordinately tall trees defend it. A living forest, one that cares not for human passage, and one that absorbs the river and by some force of nature's making propels it to the south with renewed vigor. The river continues, and from the fertile lands of Regatta it strengthens for one last push to the end of Osgara. But before that lies the one city Osgara that has never raised any banners other than its own. Myth or reality, I could not tell. But Nareath has forever been the gem of the river, a truly free city, a city-state in its own right, and many attribute the relative peace between Motra and Regatta to the presence of such a force between them, though the truth lies more in the fact that the Motrans keep to themselves, and the Regattans have had to compete with Aria for ages. Not that the river cares, as it continues for one last push to meet the sea. And meet the sea it does, surrendering its waters to salt and scoundrels. I had a biased view of the sea and its scoundrels. For over the years we have managed to build something of a rudimentary trade network amongst the coastal settlements, primarily in the east, of course. And so long as wealth travels open waters, some would be drawn to the allure of a free life at sea, stealing from the foolish rich. A myth, to be sure. In reality, if you would ask me, everyone that goes to sea ends up poor. But in this, I admit that I am biased. I know only that, as with everything, there is myth and there is reality. And so it is the same with me. My myth is to have traveled all of Osgara, though my reality, I dare say, is far more intriguing. But that, my friend, is a story for another time.